but there's a piece of inside Daiki's engine here. Like a little perfect piece just completely snapped off from something. Another broken piece from inside the engine. How are you feeling, Daiki? Sad. Welcome to today's video, everybody. I wish it was a little bit of a better start. We're gonna start with some bad news. We have just spent the last few hours going through Daiki's engine. We've taken the head off, and I wanna show you what we found. We noticed this last night. This is something, it's a mistake that anyone could make. So someone at some point capped off his heater core lines, right? Now these are supposed to be looped together, or if you do want to delete one, usually you delete this one and loop this to this pipe, which goes to the bottom of your intake manifold. And that means that water can flow through your engine correctly and go behind the thermostat here. Now, if this is done, the water can't flow through the head properly. And what that means is your head ends up literally cooking and boiling, and you blow a head gasket like instantly. And that's exactly what happened to Daiki. Pretty much, he said that after like the second or third lap at Nico, when he did a shakedown on the car, he felt that he started losing a little bit of power, but he just kind of, put up with it. Now, at that point, we didn't really know. A head gasket was blown, and obviously he was competing in the series. And then, anyways, the result of that means that water starts leaking into your cylinder. And then what's happening is the ignition timing in this cylinder is going to be greater and longer time, so it's going to be too slow compared to the other cylinders, right? You're going to start getting detonation issues. You can see the piston and the block here are destroyed. I don't know how well the camera can focus on that, but it's done. Now these are stock sleeves, and we can sleeve this block, and this block is savable. The piston's not. Moving over to the head, this is going to need some repair work. It is savable, but it's gonna be costly. This is just completely stuffed. It's the detonations chewed away at the head like crazy. And that's just how it works sometimes, unfortunately. So coolant was leaking into number cylinder 2. You can see the difference by the color of the valves. And yeah, very obvious that that is the problem. Now at that point, if you actually look at this gasket here, that's how it would have been on the head, but we'll flip it over. You can see number 2 is where the coolant was leaking in like crazy. You can see number 1 started, and then number 3 started by the time we pulled this engine apart. So most likely this thing's been like this for quite a while, and we just didn't really pick up on it or have the time to diagnose it. And when we did start diagnosing for a blown head gasket because it was consuming coolant, we found a lot of coolant leaks on the car. We pressurized the system, and we found that a few hoses and hose clamps weren't tight enough and they were leaking coolant. We tightened all of them, and we were like, oh, it should be fine now. But then the next time Daiki drove, he noticed that it had used over 1.5 liters of coolant. But yeah, all of this most likely is just caused by these being capped off and the head gasket blowing from just not getting proper water flow. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Now the good news is the head is savable, so we will be able to save it. It'll involve some welding and stuff like that, and then it'll get machined, and all, valves will all get machined and put new valve guides in it, and we should be good. And then this head is going to go on a different block we have over there, and that's going to go get machining done, and we'll be doing a 2.2. But yeah, just a little PSA, I guess, for anyone with an SR. Just loop these two, and that's the best way to go about blocking off your heater core lines if you don't want to run a heater core or a heater in your car. Let it be known. Anyways, the good news is new engine soon. At 2.2, and now we know what all the problems were from, and it's solved. We know why it was doing it now. Yeah. So now all we got to do is fix the wiring, and this car should be mint. So this is a spare block that we're going to be taking to get machined for the 2.2. Now, actually, the stock sleeves are in really good condition in this block. There's a tiny bit of detonation in the corners here, but it hasn't started separating. Still, it would be a good idea to switch these out, because you can see here it's kind of gotten a little thin in the wall. It's very hard to probably see it on camera, but you can kind of see the stock sleeve has about like a 1 millimeter thickness there that you can see, and over here it's barely there because it's been wearing away. So this block's going to get sleeved, but one thing we don't need from this block is the crankshaft, because we're going to a 2.2. means that it's going to getting not only bigger pistons, but we're going to be increasing the stroke. And the stroke is how much it's going up and down. Now, this crankshaft is stroked for obviously the stock SR, which is 2 liters. We're going to be changing that. Now, before we take this to get machined, we want to see if the crank's actually in good condition, because we want to keep that, obviously, and we can use that on another SR if we want to do a 2.1, because 2.1 you increase the bore, not the stroke. So zip this out. Look at this. The stock girdle has a little kangaroo on it. How you doing, Skippy? It's like my favorite thing about SRs. Meant to be in there for Australians. One pro tip too for getting your main caps off the girdle. Take 2 of your bolts here, main bolts, and you just put them in like this, hold them together like that, and you can just use them to pull out your main caps. So we're gonna put these in this order so we don't mix them up. Most likely, just by looking at this crank, looks like it's in pretty good shape, Daiki. Which is what we want to see. He deserves a bit of good news, you know? Oh no. We have a bit of bad news. I've never seen this before, Daiki.
俺も今見た Oh my god.
How does that happen? How does this even happen? Did someone drop this maybe, Daiki? Because this was in this box, so if someone dropped it, that could be why it broke. Because that's very rare. I've never seen one of these break like that. Well, yeah, I know we can replace that, but that then means this needs a line bore. We might have to use the other block. But the mains look good on this crank. It is time for my favorite part, which is to disassemble the bottom end. We're gonna find out what's going on inside and if any other mistakes have been made. Obviously from the outside in, we've already noticed a fair few simple mistakes that could have been avoided. Blocking off this, which caused the head gasket to blow, which then caused detonation issues in this. The stock sleeves are destroyed. The block can be saved with new sleeves, but the piston's done. But what else inside is salvageable? One other interesting thing is, I was wondering why we never really got any crazy knock on the Link ECU to indicate that number 2 was having a bunch of issues, especially considering the knock sensors in the center here. We should have been able to hear it, being that that cylinder is quite close to the sensor, but there's a huge crack and split through the knock sensor. So someone at some point over tightened that and split the whole thing. So that probably wasn't even working, or if it was working, it wasn't even hearing properly. But yeah, so we found a fair few things, but let's get into it and figure out what's going on. Before we do though, I want to introduce you to my favorite tool. This is a valve stem seal puller. This just goes on the valve stem seal and you're able to pull it out, right? But these are so good. I use these for things like pulling hydraulic lifters out of SR heads, as well as these suckers here. How long do you struggle to pull these out of the block or the head when all you need is a valve stem seal puller and it comes straight out? It's one of my favorite tools, and it's something that a lot of people just, I guess, overthink and try to get some other kind of specialty tool. But a valve stem seal puller has got all these little ribs in here. You don't even have to be super strong on it and it'll come straight out. And also for pulling out hydraulic lifters from SR heads that are kind of stuck in there with all the oil, amazing. They come out like butter. So yeah, they don't cause damage either. Anyways, long story short, it's time to pull this thing apart and see what's going on the inside. Hopefully we don't find anything weird like, you know, pistons in back to front or something. Let's find out. You're always gonna miss some of it. So when I tipped the engine upside down, I heard something and I thought it was just like all the oil and coolant, but there's a piece of inside Daiki's engine here. Like a little perfect piece just completely snapped off from something that fell out from inside the timing cover, I think, maybe. So we'll look at that. At first I thought maybe it was one of the Woodruff keys, but the Woodruff key is still in here. There's 2 in there. One's still on the oil pump. The one that's normally here is actually just stuck inside the seal in there. It's hard to kind of... This is the Woodruff key, which is usually in here. Like that, held in. And then the harmonic balancer holds it in. But This thing's in really good condition. There's no flaring. There's no sign that that was wearing on the crank whatsoever. So that's a good sign. That's good. That's staying over here. But yeah, this piece, no idea where that came from. That's a little troubling. So we'll look at that in a bit. But we're just getting the oil pan off now. I really like these oil pans that Tomei makes. They're my favorite one. The aluminum Greddy ones, they're a good oil pan too, but unfortunately they had a huge failure with the drain plug. The drain plug never has enough threads and they always just like strip out somehow. Every single person that I know that's had one has had it happen, and it happened to me too. I used to have one of the original, like a real Greddy one, and the drain plug stripped out. One day you're just like driving down the road and just falls out. Even if you don't ugger-dugger it, it just happens because of the cast aluminum. So I really like these ones. They have stainless, like welded on kind of bung there, so they never fall out. But yeah, they're a good one. They got baffles and everything in them. We'll get this buddy off, and then we'll get the top part out, and we'll be able to really see what's going on in this engine. Woo! Well, any goodies in here? No? Just a little bit of gasket stuff in here. I think we're getting closer to what's going on here. Another broken piece from inside the engine. What is this from? What is that? Piston. Could be the piston? No. This could be, no, this can't be the piston. This is something else for sure. But what is this from? Something's not right or happy inside this engine. Oh man, I really love pulling apart broken SRs. Daiki's behind the camera just crying. No. Like, don't get me wrong, the bad news sucks, right? We all know the bad news sucks. But the good news is we know what's going on now, right? We answer all the questions and we know what to do to fix this for next time, and so that it doesn't have this issue ever again. Issues.
I want asking for how works my engine.
Yeah, how does your engine work, right?
Yeah.
You want to learn, right? You came to the right place, buddy. So last night, yesterday is when we actually pulled the head off this and took it all to Okachan's shop. And we came back today and decided to disassemble the engine and investigate further. Okachan and Daiki spent some time together having dinner. And it's good because then obviously, you know, Daiki's gonna learn the ropes from the SR god himself. And he'll probably have an amazing season with a great performing SR. Something that's kind of rare these days. Do you know how many SRs I've pulled apart, Daiki? One.
What?
I'm joking. We've already found some pieces of engine.
Oh, that sounds.
What we got?
Wow.
What's going on down in here? 2 washers here that I want. What's going on here? Oh, wow. I think this is, yeah. This is crazy. You can see this is from water sitting here right under 2番. 2番下が水入ってるよ. See this? There's all this gunky jelly stuff. This is from water mixing with oil and sitting, and it's right under number 2 cylinder. Interesting. So that proves that. I'm just seeing if there's anything broken off the housings here, because that cast aluminum looks like this kind of stuff snapped off to me, but it's not. This is all here.
Oh, I can smell it.
You can smell it, right? It smells chotto funky, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to explain how this smells, but when water mixes with oil, it's not a great thing. Have a look up here. Do we see anything missing off the girdle? No, nothing yet. I'm betting it's here off the time. Ah, yeah, that's from the timing chain, the oil pump, Daiki.
Oh.
Yeah, it's from the oil pump. Yeah, it's from the oil pump, Daiki.
Can we see?
I can see where it's broken. It's right under the oil pickup. Let's get the front cover off and I'll show you. It's from the oil pump. Those pieces are from the oil pump.
Oh my god.
It should be okay, but Your rods look good. The rods look nice. Maybe you can use rods, just one piston. Can you buy one piston from Trust?
I have stock
Or
HKS
Tomei,
piston.
right? Stock HKS piston.
Yeah.
But we could get maybe one Tomei piston, maybe?
No, I don't have Tomei piston. So.
What do we need to get this out? I need to get all these 10s out.
Oh my god, すごい.
There it is.
Hey.
There's the piece that snapped off, Daiki. Right there. So the timing chain somehow snapped that clean off when your car was running. Interesting. That's very odd. But that other piece makes no sense. I don't see anywhere else where that other piece could have come from. That's very weird. So we gotta find now where this piece came from. This piece is different. This piece came from here. I'm not too worried about that. It's not the end of the world, but it is a little weird that that snapped off. All right, that's from there. It's meant to be there. See? Like that, like this one here. But this piece is weird. I don't know where this came from, and that's weird. Good news is oil squirters are all intact and pistons are all put in the correct way. That's good news. We just took the rod cap off number 1 and made a discovery. Let me finish popping out this piston and I'll show you what I found. Very lucky. Very lucky. This was ready to go. It's pretty close. I don't know how much longer that would have lasted, but it was close to spinning. Look at all the heat damage and something in there. Not great. I don't know if it was a clearancing issue or an oiling issue, but something was up there for sure. But yeah, guess we caught it when we did, which is great. Let's see what this bearing looks like. Oh wow, yeah. Oh wow. The bearing not happy at all. Right down. Interesting. Well, good thing this engine's getting turned into 2.2 probably as well. This will be the spare block that we'll use. All right. Ooh, yeah, see this? See the rust from the coolant sitting in the chamber, affecting the rings? The rings are not bad. Daiki, I think you could get away with using this piston.
Really?
Yeah, you might be able to use this. The edge is a little worn. It's not great. You could get away with it because it hasn't destroyed the ringland or damaged the ringland. You could use this.
Oh,
it's
nice.
not
Good news.
Yeah, so you could use this in say an engine for your 180SX. I'm just checking everything else. It looks pretty good. You could get away with using this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it in like a competition car, but for like a missile or something like that. Yeah, you could definitely slap an SR together with this. This isn't too bad. This is actually, it's not great, and we can just hit that with some emery paper and smooth it back out, and she'll be fine.
Oh, really?
Get away using that. Yeah, it's not too bad. That's not too bad. The bearings though, we definitely need new bearings.
Oh.
Bearings not great.
Okay.
They were all really worn, hey. Did you ever have a low pressure? You had a bit of low oil pressure issues, right?
Yeah, actually, like 4 times later?
4 or 3 times?
Yeah.
It makes sense. Look at this wear, guys. Normally you don't see that unless like things are really, really hot and low oil pressure.
Oh.
Luckily though, it didn't actually spin. So let's pull out number 3. This piston looks good too. Rings all intact.
What's your face?
The ring locations here, the gaps, are very weird. They're like really close to each other. That's supposed to be like half, and then here, and then the oil ring is all the way That's really weird that those were so close to each other. This one's correct. It's a full like 180 degrees away. See how this one's on this side and then this one's on this side? That's correct. This one's weird. This one's kind of close to each other. It's only like a quarter, and this one was even closer. Weird. That's really good. That doesn't have that much wear compared to the rest of them. See how it's only just started going through that top layer, Daiki? That's not too bad. That's really good. It means this had the most oil out of all of them. The 3, 2, and 1 copped it. This one's really nice. That's what I want to see. That first top layer of like Teflon protection or whatever they spray on this, barely broken through. That's a good looking bearing. Interesting. I know I keep saying interesting a lot, but this stuff's really interesting. See, this is weird again. Look, this is here and just here. The rings are in interesting positions. Normally, I thought they were supposed to be like opposite of each other. I could be wrong though. Everything looks good on this piston too. I think you can reuse this in like a missile engine or something. Or, I mean, if you want to, we could probably talk to Tomei and see if we can get one piston to replace that one.
Okay.
Just to be safe, if we can get same weighted one, and then we can put this together with new sleeves. I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
But otherwise, everything else looks good. I still don't know where that other piece came from though.
Oh.
This piece is very weird. It could be from the head. Woo! Oh wow. It's not too bad, but the wearing is there. Definitely had some oiling issues, but luckily nothing my nail catches on, which means the crank's good. So far so good, Daiki. Look, these have already been stamped too. See? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This one too. Wow, that copped something in there. Something went through this. Oh wow, there's actually little pieces of bearing material in it. But, once again, the main on the crank looks pretty decent. Nothing my nail catches on. Not too bad.
Yay.
That's everything. It's your engine. It's what makes you go bah, all on a tray.
My stuff.
Your stuff. Oh, you want to do the honors? I'm gonna let you pull the crank. You can pull the crank.
Okay.
Okay, let's switch places. All right, Daiki, this is your first crank pull. Just whatever you do, don't drop it.
Okay.
It's a little heavy, so be prepared for it. Ready?
Okay.
Pull her out.
ちょっと待って。
There you go, there you go. You got it. Yep, let the chain fall out. Yep, you can just, yep, there you go. Put it down, son. Congratulations, your first SR crank pull. She's a good crank. What's the numbers on this? Front here, a number there. Oh, you've got a 1111. That's really easy for bearings. You can get some Nismo race bearings in this bad boy. Nice. All right. Good job.
Is it different number?
Every crank is different, depending on the size of everything. Yeah. And then you look at the number on the block here. See this number on the block? See this? Ni, san, ni. You match up those numbers with those, and then you're able to pick what bearings to go, like what size bearings. And then you still check it with plastic gauge and check it, everything's all good and in check, and you're ready to rip. Yeah.
すごいね。
It's interesting, right?
Yeah.
See how much these bearings are worn? This front one, for some reason, was very heavy worn on here. So that usually means, Daiki, your belts were too tight. Did you like really tighten your power steering belt? Yeah. Yeah. So see how it's like right on this edge here? It's been worn a ton. Oh wow, it copped a lot of heat there. You see that? Let's slide that out real quick and take a quick squeeze. Wow, copped a lot of heat.
Because of
Yeah.
the black.
Yeah. But it never spun. That's the main thing. And the crank has nothing that your nail catches on. You can have these little like these little lines here, Daiki, but if your nail doesn't catch on it, it's good. Usually you can just polish and linish it up and it'll be fine. But if there's like a little scratch that your nail can catch on, like your nail like you feel.
Has that scratch.
Yes. But see, it's not stopping my nail, right? You don't feel it with your nail. So if you have it with your nail, then it's generally new crank. But this is not bad. Good job. Yeah, got a good crank, Daiki. That's great. And the oil squirters are all intact. Well, send this block off to get sleeved and she'll be mint. I don't see anything in here broken off too. I was just wondering if there's going to be something else in here, but we're mint. Good job, Daiki.
Yay, thank you.
No worries. Well, we finished cleaning everything. One of the local go-to things here is we clean everything with kerosene when it comes to engine building. And look how good this stuff comes up, dude. It looks amazing. We just kind of put a bit of kerosene in a little tub and we just use a paintbrush to scrub it all. And it comes out so good. Kerosene also melts all the RTV. So we put a bit in this bottle here and then you just put all the bolts in there with all the RTV on it and you can kind of see it just starts melting and falling all off it inside there. So these bolts will come out clean, almost like they've been in an ultrasonic cleaner, so it's kind of cool. But otherwise, everything's all done, good to go. And from here, this block will eventually go off and get sleeved, and then we can turn it into another 2.1 or a 2.2 if we need to, but we'll keep this thing spare in case something ever goes wrong with Daiki's engine this year. Otherwise, guys, I'm gonna end today's video here. Probably gonna go to Big Bang, drive some little drift carts or whatever, but all the bad news aside, we're obviously getting Daiki sorted, so that's the good news, and we know about all of his major issues and what caused them now. So then we know that going into the new season, how to fix all of that so it doesn't happen again. That's the biggest thing, because he's had this repeat happen multiple times just because of those simple water lines. It's crazy, right? Anyways, that aside, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. A little bit technical, I know, but smash that like button, write a comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you want more of this in-depth kind of SR stuff. It's always fun opening broken engines and seeing what else went wrong in them. But thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.